Hi, I'm Bea. Welcome back to episode 16 of Wreck This Journal. If you've been following along, you know that I'm using this book for art prompts and experimentation. The first pages that I'm working on today are pages 72 and 73. Journal golf. 1. Tear out the page, crumple into a ball. 2. Place the journal into a triangle shape. 3. Kick the ball through the triangle. So when I started looking for inspiration for this page, I was really frustrated because I looked at, I pulled up Pinterest, I pulled up some search engines, and I started looking for golf inspiration. Golf does not inspire me. I'm not into golf. I don't play golf. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. It is incredibly neutral to me, but it does not inspire me. And so I was just like, what am I going to do? So when I started looking at golf art, I realized that in a lot of golf art wall pieces or pictures for offices and stuff, they are basically landscape paintings, and then they have one section where it has the striped green grass for I think it's called the putting green, maybe, I don't know. It's that where the hole is, and then there's the flag in the hole. And I'm like, okay, well, I can do something like that. We can come up with some sort of fantasy, and then we'll just put a golf hole in it and a red flag, and then suddenly it's a golf picture. And so that's what I started to do. I started pursuing different ideas. I was like, I could do a sleeping dragon in a cave and have the golf hole behind the dragon. I could have, this be a forest scene and have it where the golf ball has to bounce across a bunch of mushrooms. And then I also considered putt-putt golf, and I was like, putt-putt golf makes me think of windmill. I don't know. And that made me think of the Gorillaz music video where they have that windmill, but it's on an island that's floating in the sky, and it looks like it's been torn out of the ground, and it's this really cool aesthetic. And I was like, oh, I could do something like that and have the hole on one of the floating islands, and then have the tee on another floating island and have the windmill in between them. I was like, what kind of thing do I want to do? And I was like, I want to do something that's underwater. I've been seeing a lot of really cool underwater art recently, and I really wanted to do it because the big thing with underwater art is that you have to put in a bunch of layers. And so I wanted to practice that so that way you could see this is the foreground, and this is the midground, and this is the background, and this is even further back. You can tell this is the ocean. It's open, it's wide, it goes deep, far back, and it fades into blue, right? But you can still see the distances, and I really wanted to practice that. And so I really tried to obtain that by having a thicker black line around the stuff that is in the foreground, and then have a lighter, thinner line around stuff that's in the midground, and then the very background where I did the school of fishes and different type things that are swimming in that background. I tried to do I didn't do any outline, and I just did kind of a shadowy, a darker blue, and I tried to make it kind of wet so that way it would blur out a little bit more, so you get the general shape but you don't get a lot of details and things like that. I also really wanted to add an octopus inside of the book because the octopus on the outside of the book that I did on the edges, the more pages that I complete, the less you can see what the edges are. And so I just want to make sure that I get a peacock and I get an octopus inside of the book as well, because I love both of those animals and I want to include them in the book. I was trying to think about other fish that are in the ocean, and of course that made me think of Nemo. And Nemo, there is that angelfish, and there is a puffer fish, and there is that little squid or whatever, which would be the octopus. There's a starfish, which I didn't add, and there is that one fish that goes into the shell all the time, which I also didn't add. But I that's where I got the idea of adding the angelfish and then adding the puffer fish, so that way you can see the foreground as well up higher in the ocean. And then all of these plant life and things that are down there, I was obviously I want coral. Coral's gonna be this orangey pink color. I need seaweed. I wanted to do a brain type thing, but I tried doing it a couple different ways with my undersketch and it just did not work out. So I was like, let's do ribbon type things. Obviously we have to have some sort of conch shell or something to show that there's a crab or there's something hidden under here that is obviously hiding because the octopus is right there. I just really wanted to have a bunch of variety down here, but also that isn't going to take away from the fact the octopus obviously is a main event. The clamshell is also a main event. Obviously I wanted the flag to be the golf hole itself is a main event. I wanted those to be foreground. I wanted it to be oh, you can see this is what's going on here. I did debate on having that clamshell, like the pearl that's inside of it. I did add shadowing so that way it was like a golf ball. So that way it had like the little divots that golf balls have on it. And I was just like, no, I don't like this. I don't like it. They're playing golf with an actual pearl. They're not going to be playing it with a golf ball, I guess, because I just did not like how it looked aesthetically when it was like that. I liked it a lot better with the pearl. So I added the highlight back and I was like, nope, this is just gonna be a pearl in this clamshell or whatever. And you know, they're either playing with that or the golf ball has not gotten over close to the tee or whatever. I did debate having the octopus be the one that was golfing, you know, like putting a golf club in the octopus's tentacle, but I didn't like that. You know, whoever's golfing this hole, they're just not here yet. They're off camera, they're off screen, they're out of the picture, they're not here yet. Maybe they were eaten by the shark in the background. I don't know. Don't really care. And so this is the golf picture that I came up with, and you know, I added some bubbles and things to the top parts just to like fade it into what I had already done with the watercolors. Ultimately, I really love the balance of this artwork. I really love the colors. I love the depth that I was able to achieve. I like how I did like the foreground, middle background. This page is really good. It's one of my favorites. It's really cute. It's really well done. I'm really proud of it. The next pages that I'll be working on are pages 74 and 75, Make a Paper Chain. Now, I knew when I saw this that I was not going to be cutting out this page, and I played with the idea of doing like one of those like starburst paper folded chains, if you know what I'm talking about. So that way it would lay flat in the book, but then that's also going to add a lot of thickness and a lot of depth. So I decided I was just going to use my utility knife and I was just going to cut out a paper chain and I was going to make it like kind of pop out of the book. And when I was talking to my husband about the previous pages, I was like, should I do the dragon or should I do the octopus? And he was like, dragon, obviously. But then I was like, no, I'm going to do the octopus. So that meant I had to do a dragon on this page. So I already knew that I wanted it to be like flying away and then have someone on the chain, like hanging on to it. Like they're trying to escape and the dragon like let a chain down so that way they could grab hold to it or whatever. I don't know. Ultimately though, I decided that this girl, she was going to go free the dragon, but the dragon lifted up into the air and she got caught on this chain. So she's like hanging onto this chain and she's just like, I'm going to free this dragon anyway. So she's going to be the hero of this story. She's going to save this dragon. And so as I was drawing her, I made sure that I did a thicker outline. These are Micron, they're waterproof ink pens or whatever. And so I have a 01, which is what I did the normal outline with. And then I have a 08, which is a lot thicker. So that's what I did around anywhere that I was going to cut, because I wanted to make sure that there was still going to be like a black outline wherever I ended up cutting. And when I have not done that in the past and I cut around it, I've had to go back and like add an outline, and that's kind of a pain to do. So this time I was like, I'll just make the outline thicker. That way when I cut it, I'm not going to accidentally cut off the outline. It will still be there. It will still be visible. It'll still look good. And so when I was drawing the girl that's climbing up this chain, I was like, I tried a couple different faces. I tried having her head turn more so that way I could see more of her expression and things like that. But then it's like with the dragon looking back at her, it just didn't quite work out. I like how it turned out. I liked the fact that she, you know, she's obviously climbing up. She's gonna get this dragon. Like, I like this page. I think it's a really cute page. I also really like how I did the watercolor behind the dragon. Like, I've never done watercolor clouds before, and I think they turned out really, really well. The tutorial that I looked up online was like, just make sure that your paper's wet before you add color to it. And I was like, okay, that worked out really, really well, because it adds the softness, but it still has like the crispness that you get in an edge of a cloud. And I just think it looks really good. And I was like really excited with like how that turned out. And then obviously, you know, the dragon itself is like a very pastel green, and I tried to add a bit more gold and like yellow to it so that way it would pull from the jacket, so it would balance out. And I do think that the yellow gets pulled more with the girl on the page. Like, I do think that you see the yellow more when you're looking at her, but to me, she's like the focal point because she is the contrast to all of this like brightness. I don't know. I really like this page though, because it's just like, there's so much going on. Like, I like the story of like this girl. She is going to help out. She's determined. She's an adventurer. She's going to succeed. Like, she's very, very cute, but also she's empathetic, and she's gonna save this dragon. If it kills her, she's gonna do it. And I don't know. I just love it. I think she's great. And I think this whole page is great. I really like the shadow that happens with her popping off the page, the shadow from the chain and stuff. It looks, to me, it just looks so cool. Just the whole concept of it. It is so cool. It looks so good. I think I did a really good job on it. Like, I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of both of these pages, honestly. Like, I used the whole color wheel basically for Under the Ocean. Like, every color is in here. I used the whole color wheel. My only concern is that I have 2 pages that are blue, like back to back, because I have the ocean. You know, obviously there's a lot of blue in that, and then there's a lot of blue with the sky and the clouds on this page as well. And so whatever I do next needs to not be blue. That's the only thing I know for sure, is whatever page I do next can't have blue in it. It looks so good. It's so aesthetically pleasing to my eye. I love it so much. I'm really excited to get started on next week. I know we're doing the collect fruit stickers and the office supplies, and I will see you all next week. Bye. If you want to please the Pandaverse, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.